Hey everybody, story time. So, this is my old Lenovo laptop. A friend of mine, Bud, sent me this in 2017. I think I had a couple years on it then. It was originally his aunt's. Display stopped working. His aunt's like, you can have it, especially if you can get it fixed. He couldn't figure it out, judging by when I took it apart and seen there's some ribbon cables just on, and he was just done with it by the looks of it. Problem wasn't down here, the problem was here, and I knew the problem was here. I was like, okay, send it to me. He said, you can just keep it. I know you'll fix it. And exactly was that. I just reattached all the ribbon cables in here, but the one for the LCD display was detached. I took a little strip of Gorilla tape, not glue, the tape, which is about similar to like the tape they used originally to fix it in the factory, and refixed it. And yeah, take it to boot. Worked, used this thing with Linux for years just as like a little bang around laptop. If I lost it, tough shit, there wasn't very much on it. One of these. Let's focus. The camera refuses to focus on it. Oh, there we go. E1 Vision. It's a cheap little APU. This is actually like a postcard-sized motherboard in this thing, maybe. It's almost business card sized, really. Mostly to accommodate the RAM and stuff. This is actually originally based off their netbook, the Idea Pad or some crap, and what they did was just upgrade it to 15.9-inch profile just for productivity. The APU that this thing is a cheap dual-core mobile CPU. Mobile level is not very beefy at all. And then the GPU that's on it, Wrestler 7315, which is not GCN though. That's just like basically it's a 5450, but not very powerful, not very high powered. Put 107 on it the other day, just so I can use it as a capture device with the old Gamebridge. I had it retired because I got the capture system over here now, and that's actually using a Roxio set up Windows 10. And this thing can actually just upscale the dick out of things if I want to. Not 4K because that GPU is not capable of 4K, but that's an i7-3537U, an HD 4000 graphics and 4 gigs of RAM. Windows 10, I've shaved it down, but man, this thing in OBS is great. OBS chugged like a bitch on this thing. 1.43 gigahertz is your lot for speed. If you use Windows 7, there are drivers you can download from AMD, and they do let you set the power settings on this thing. Although I have set, basically it's the same thing as the Windows power settings, and actually will take cues off of that. So if you just go into that like I did and set it to performance, then yeah, 320 gig hard drive. But with Windows 7 and this thing, the game bridges were meant to run on a single core XP machine. 732-bit because I think the backwards compatibility is at the kernel level, not emulation or anything like that. So that's why 32-bit Windows 7 could run this, because it was intended also to be a legacy upgrade, so you don't have to sit on XP. So yeah, this thing had, been meant for like 500 megahertz Pentium 3s, even or Pentium 4s. They were meant for XP machines. But yeah, this thing is doing great with it. I already did one 10-minute thing. Only thing is, Handbrake, man, working. The compression on this version, yeah. Like, I think it's only an hour-long video, maybe. This is somebody's over-the-shoulder video camera capture, video camera footage from, like, I'm guessing maybe early 90s, maybe even late 80s. I was trying to place it with all the fashion, but this is also Italy, so I have no bearing on it. I don't have taste. But, yeah, it's a good friend of mine. I got this little JVC VHS deck. A friend of mine gave it to me. It was his late brother's. And I just hooked straight into this. So I have this now set as a dedicated capture system. So dedicated VHS transfer. So just Windows 7 32-bit VirtualDub for this part. And, well, to get the compression done, I have Handbrake in it. I have OBS installed on here. Yeah, that fucking thing just didn't record properly OBS. OBS is too powerful. Not so much too powerful, it's too much in need of like more cores for something like this. This thing right here does OBS fine. This thing here choked on it for recording, but VirtualDub works great. I've already done like there's one of them here. The original was 18 gigs, and Handbrake stuffed it down to 243, and that was on the high quality premium setting or wherever the hell it is. VLC for viewing. I do have OpenShot if I want to do some light stuff, like maybe throw a soundtrack in and render it down after using this crap. And DVD styler, if anybody wants it on DVD minus R, but actually meant for a DVD player or something, because this does have a DVD burner over here. 2 USB 3, so that's great for hauling shit off fast. And the Gamebridge is not the sole USB 2.0, so it makes it really easy. Because Gamebridges, fun fact, will only work once you install them on the port you install them to. They're signed to it. They're weird. What the fuck, Adaptec? But yeah, here we go. It's doing good. There is an S-Video and RF option on them. This is the 1410, and VirtualDub does recognize them. However, this VCR is only composite, and by the looks of the footage from what I've seen versus I got this thing is like a slight benchmark cassette, I guess you can say. I had this for years now. X left it. This is one from one of those much music video dances that you knew as a kid. Quality for a lot of merch out for them, so they do like the dance mixes for them. Looks much better than this footage on here. No offense, I just mean like the quality of the video camera they probably used, and I actually cleaned it up enough to make this look really nice. Not quite DVD, but I was able to fix it up a bit. But this, yeah, it's the camera that I'm using is doing it more favors, I think, although my screen may be a little washed out on the laptop, but they come out pretty decent. The color's not bad. But the video camera, I'd say, was probably 3 head at the most. No selectable record time, because I can't see if this is even showing. I think this is SP. The cassettes are, and usually like a cheaper video camera, you didn't have the option to do EP. Oh, that's just him getting dark. That was my camera. Some of the cheaper cameras, like we had a Gold Star when I was a kid growing up in the 90s, and you couldn't set that for extended play or EP recording. Like you just had SP, and even in fact, it was hardwired to it because I remember throwing an EP cassette in the video camera because somebody's using the TV at the time. So I'm gonna hook up the video camera and watch something that I have recorded off on TV on EP. Yeah, played like chipmunks. So a lot of these old video cameras were hardwired only for SP, and I think that's what this is because this was recorded in SP. I don't think there's any transfer off of anything else either, unless maybe this might have been transferred off of somebody's European camera onto a video cassette recorder like this, an NTSC, because the Gamebridge and the VHS are both NTSC. I actually went in on the drivers. This thing defaults to NTSC 29.97 FPS, and the VHS as well is NTSC. So I didn't have to do any, stuff to fix around things. But the color's not horrible, and I think this is just the previews it goes through as well in VirtualDub. This is not. Also, I only installed the drivers, did not install InterVideo, anything like that on this, as usual. That stuff's not optimized and makes Arrow shit the fucking bed. Actually, it makes everything heat up faster on this thing. VirtualDub is actually really low impact, and I just went in, like I said, and just corrected for a few things, did a few test recordings, just see, because I also won't let me adjust in real time, of course, but, once everything was flicked through, yeah, just tickety-boo, fine, got a good USB cable. You don't realize how much you need one of these with the Gamebridge. Nothing flimsy. But, yeah, all working. But yeah, it is a little washy, I find, the Gamebridges anyway, but I don't think it's going to matter for this here because Handbrake and my adjustments compensate for that. But yeah, that video size. Now, this is an earlier version of VirtualDub. Only this version will work. But yeah, I figured I'd toss off a little one. I know that sounds horrible if you're English, not North American English. But yeah, so dedicated little capture system now for a VHS. I got a stack of them here to finish off, but yeah, I just let this thing go. When I open up a Handbrake, because these things are huge, Handbrake takes forever to just go through all the flags on one of these things, or the scan, whatever the hell it does. And I gotta wait and then come back and say, oh, it's done, and then set up everything else and get it to make a copy. All it does is just compresses it down. There's no loss really. It's just this VirtualDub records in such an uncompressed format, and the Gamebridge is in effect with that. There's different compressions you can use in VirtualDub, but only ones recognized and compatible apparently with the Gamebridge. It's not a problem with VirtualDub apparently, it's a problem with the Gamebridge. So I just farted down to that and I'm fine. Anyway, I thought I'd show that off. This laptop is probably Windows 8, so good, at least 8 years old. That Gamebridge was 07, 08 when it was minted. The VCR is 90s, I'm pretty sure. And the footage, the cassettes, and the quality are probably, you're looking at mid-90s. So, yeah. And if somebody had their PAL video camera hooked into this NTSC machine to transfer, if that's even possible, I don't know. I doubt it. Or this is transferred off to somebody's like digital video camera, but it wasn't a high resolution or wasn't set for quality settings. But so far so good. Yeah, old crap working together, and even Windows 7 32-bit. Windows 7 is not a silver bullet for stuff, folks. I know some people still adhere to Windows 7, and that's great, but I find it's very purpose-built to the user, what you got to do with the machine, and in this case, Windows 7. Oh, and by the way, this thing doesn't run like dog shit, I even discovered, versus Linux, because there's these ACPI drivers you can install in Windows, and power management's way better, apparently. Anyways, so, yeah, check it out. Not too bad. Didn't cost me anything, except for the Gamebridge back in the day when I bought it. Laptop was free, VHS was free. Cassettes are just what a buddy of mine would get me to do. I even have some stacks of DVDs these can be burned off onto, and they didn't cost me anything. They were salvage. Alright, take care all. Checking in again soon.